Okay guys, so I done goofed again. This is my second goof of 16 days. No, yeah, 16 if we include those two Santa videos as one. So 16 days and I done goofed for my second time, which is fine. This is all a learning curve for me, so it is fine. What I did isn't forget the auxiliary cable or the TRRS cable for the microphone's transmitter. Instead, this time I accidentally filmed everything in slow motion. So, what that means is that, one, slow motion doesn't record audio, that's a start, so there's no sound, and everything is, it's lower quality for starters, because slow motion seems to, one, it drops it down to full HD 1080p instead of the usual 4K super crispy clean format that I film in. So yeah, it looks like there's noise. If you know what noise is, it's just a bit grainy in the picture. But there's that, and then it's, yeah, no sound. So I'm gonna edit it anyway. What I'm gonna do is, like last time, do a bit of a voiceover. I even filmed a glute warm up and everything, so we'll see if I can salvage that. But yeah, today's session was a grind. Leg day, obviously this knee's not 100% still, so that was also a bit annoying, but I did plate-loaded glute bridges, or glute hip thrusts, that's a good way to put it. So plate-loaded hip thrusts, did stiff-legged Romanian deadlifts, and also did some isolates. So it was a pretty hefty session. I didn't record all the warm-up stuff, but 3 working sets pretty much of each. And yeah, so I was burnt out, but I thought I needed to do it for you guys and to also stay accountable. But yeah, so yeah, it's going to be one of these ones again. Voiceover, you get the drill. So enjoy, guys. Let's give it a watch. So I decided to film a glute warm-up as requested, because I had someone who wanted me to film a glute warm-up. So right now I'm doing some seated clamshells with a band just to get a little bit of easy activation, very basic shit. External rotation of the knees, as that's part of the glute's job. Now I'm moving into knee-banded glute bridges, or yeah, it's probably the best way to put it. It's like a hip thrust, but without really any weight and just doing it on the floor. With your knees banded, it adds this internal rotation pull, which means that you need to then externally rotate your legs to push out those knees, which engages the glutes. And then we drive our heels down, which is what you can see me doing here, teaching you not to slip your feet forward, but drive down into the ground to lift the pelvis up. Now, what I'm showing here with my core is I'm saying don't open up your core when you drive off the ground, extending your belly. What you want to do is crunch as you come up. As you can see, I'm trying to keep everything tight. What this does, if you do it correctly, not only will you save your lower back, but you will actually naturally feel a stretch in your hip flexors and quads, which is what I was just touching then. And this will help drive it into your glutes just that little bit more, guys. So, again, driving it down through your heels, externally rotating those knees to get the glutes secondarily, or other job happening, the external rotation of the hips. So yeah, extension and external rotation of the hips there with that one. Just pump them out. 3 sets of 20 or whatever burns. Now we're moving into crab walks, banded crab walks. So with this one, I'm just teaching you there not to step out with your knee buckling in. You want to rotate that knee out because we want to make sure that we're keeping the glutes on doing their job. If you crab walk in like this, which looks horrible, then not only are you going to look like an absolute dork like I did, but you're not going to actually engage your glutes properly. So what you want to do instead is you want to make sure that you are stepping out with your knee. See? Out with your knee, just like that. And then step across, out with the knee, across, out with the knee. Now, you can do that as many times as you like. One way, I had so much camera space, so I just did 3 steps. You can do 5, you can do 8, whatever, then come back. And then do that over and over. You should feel a fantastic pump. Just making sure you're hinging at the hips and knees when doing that one. Okay, it's like an 8th squat position, that. Okay, now we're going to be doing something that activates our hip flexors. The reason why is because you need to make sure that your hip flexors are firing well to make sure that the glutes are feeling synergized with their reciprocal muscle, being their opposite. so that the hips anchor correctly and feel nice and snug. With this one, we're just wrapping that band around our feet, just like so, and we're just lifting the leg up to try and bring the thigh parallel to the ground, stomping with the other foot down into the ground to activate the glutes. So knee up activates the hip flexors, the stomping foot activates the glutes, and then just do reps of those. Nothing crazy. Okay, now we're moving straight into our first exercise. We're doing hip thrusts with the plate loaded. I did 1 plate, and now I'm doing 2, as you can see here. I really want to get some booty growing. I really want, actually, it's interesting. I actually have relatively strong glutes. It's just that they don't fire off properly, and that's due to neglect. I'll own that one. So what I'm doing here, guys, I'm making sure that I'm building a solid foundation for my hips to drive through in the posterior chain being all the muscles from the back of your neck all the way down to the tip, the back of your heels in that chained fashion. So the back muscles basically all from the top to the bottom. Now I'm moving to 3 plates, smashing these out. I'm aiming for sets of 15, guys. I'm a big believer when it comes to hip thrusting movements that until you go astonishingly crazy heavy, which you should only do when you've mastered the form, then you can go a little bit lower on the rep range. But until then, I think it's ideal to smash your glutes with volume. I think voluming your glutes when it comes to working them is the key to building a great foundation. So 4 plates now. I just wanted to hit 4 plates on this one because we're going to be moving into the stiff-legged deadlifts after this. So just punching out a nice 15 here, as you can see, making sure that I try not to extend my core, and I drive my heels down to make sure I'm squeezing my glutes, keeping my knees apart as well, not letting them buckle in. So everything is engaged in the glute external rotation and hip extension. Now we're moving into our first set of stiff-legged deadlifts. With this one, guys, I'm just doing 2 plates, so 100 kilos to begin with, making sure my chest is up, ass is out, knees are slightly bent to comfort, and making sure I only go as low as I need to. Now, I've got pretty decent hamstring mobility, or flexibility, you could say, so I can go quite low. Some people might not be able to get to that depth. You want to try get as low as you can before your lower back starts to round for you to get that extra depth. Okay, that was that one done. We're moving across now to adding a 10 on each side, so that's 120 kilos now, guys. So with this, again, I'm trying to make sure I focus on form. I tend to notice that one leg doesn't feel it as much. And what I need to do is make sure that I'm, again, I've said this in other videos, but I'm driving evenly through both feet and I'm leaning a proportionate amount of weight, a balanced amount of weight on each foot. That is a very crucial thing to do that I feel like a lot of people may make the mistake of because they just automatically do these movements without thinking. You need to make sure that you put the correct amount of weight on each side of the foot in the same spot. Okay, so now I've moved across to my set of 140. This was my top set. I didn't show my warm-up sets to this for this, guys. I'm only showing my top 3 sets. With this one, it actually felt really good. Last leg day, only 3-4 days ago, I did 10 reps, and it felt a little bit funny in my core because my core needs a little bit of work again. I actually got 12 of this. It actually felt quite good. The heavier I got with this one, everything started to snuggling in a bit more and a bit more. The first set actually was probably the least comfortable, so that was ironic. And that tends to be a common theme for a lot of people, including myself. As the muscles warm up, you gain neural activity and you get that pattern down packed in your head of how things fire off. That felt really good, guys. Very happy to have that compound done. Really want to get the hammies growing because while my knees buggered, as you'll see in this one, I'm trying to at least put the effort in to build the hamstrings and glutes while I let the knee recover a little bit. I'm not neglecting them, guys. As you can see, I'm now quickly doing my isolates, trying to smash. I'm just speeding it up now because they take a while. I've gone ultra slow on these, guys, just to try and build a bit of mind muscle connection because what I feel is going on is I'm not really getting that mind muscle connection that I should really be getting with my my leg extensions, which I actually figured out kind of after this set with the next set, so I'll explain there. So that one actually sucked a bag of dicks. That felt horrible for my knee, ironically, and that was on 120 pounds, not even that heavy. Now I've gone over and supersetted it, no rest, jumped across to the seated hamstring curl. Again, I love this machine. It's fantastic for getting great stretch on the hamstrings. In my opinion, it's just that little bit better than the laying hamstring curl if you're looking for a bit of mass, as it helps generate that stretch-mediated hypertrophy. Now, we're going back to our second set of this superset now, leg extensions. I dropped the weight to 80 kilos. Honestly, I felt like maybe I was a bit gung-ho. 120 is not much for me, right? But it may have been a bit much for how my knee's current condition is. Remember, guys, you need to step and pivot when your body isn't acting the way you would like to. In a perfect world, we wouldn't get injured. But in a realistic world, we do have our niggles and our problems, especially the older we are getting, and also with all the kinds of shit that we have to do around the clock, extracurricular from the gym, say sports or our actual work, and so on and so forth, and how you sit even at a computer and whatnot. So that set actually felt fantastic. That was great. So now I know I need to warm up on a lower weight first. Now we're just smashing out the second part of the second superset, the hamstrings. Smashing these out didn't feel a problem at all. It actually felt fantastic. As usual, I actually love these. They do wonders for my hamstrings when it comes to being an isolate, so I'll always come back to these as a staple. Now we're doing 120 pounds again now that I've done the 80s and that felt all right. And the irony with this one, guys, is it felt so much better. So it's very clear to me that I need to now do a little bit of warming up. What happened there? Maybe I didn't speed that up, or I've shifted around or done something funky. It looked like it jumped a sec. Well, things happen in the editing room. Basically, yeah, I think I skipped the speed up. Basically, I did a full set. I just didn't show it. I just skipped it. But that actually felt fantastic, guys. So now I know that. And also, I need to make sure that I sit up more and get the hip flexors on while I do them as well. That seems to be crucial for me to generate contraction more so in my VMO, my vastus medialis oblique. Not many people know what the O stands for with that one, with the teardrop muscle. But yeah, it felt great. So then basically after that, I smashed out the rest of my hamstring curls, as you can see here, finishing off what felt like a pretty fantastic session, guys. Happy with it. It felt like pretty, I don't know, I kind of wanted to get it done. Time was getting a bit away from me, but yeah, pretty good sesh. Okay, and there you have it, guys. That was leg day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, picked up a thing or two, or just enjoyed me squirming. Stay tuned for tomorrow. It should be chest day. I have a rest day on Friday, so I should be in the gym tomorrow, smashing that one out. It's chest day. It's always a bit more enjoyable, so you know, hopefully both shoulders are feeling great so we can push pretty hard. Hopefully there's some residual Chrissy calories in the tank. I feel like I've already burnt through them in the last couple of days, but fingers crossed. And then, yeah, a nice chill out rest on Friday. So, yeah, thanks for watching again, guys. Stay healthy, stay swole, stay hydrated, and stay tuned. Thanks, guys, and remember, always squeeze the juice. See you, guys.